resolutions 1 to 26. Approve agenda amendment. Number 2, approve payroll. 3, authorize refund for between tax sales certificates. 4, authorize submission of recycling tonnage grant application for 2023. 5, approve amendment of resolution 082318 with Real Trade in doing business as Negro. 6, approve payment of for emergency procurement, the Department of Engineering and Public Works for sewage backup. 7, approve request for use of city property requested by Blanquita Valenti Community School. 8, approve request for use of city property requested by McKinney Community School. 9, approve request for use of city property for a flag football Powerpuff Girls event. 10, approve request for use of city property by Rutgers University. 11, approve request of city property requested by the Brunswick tomorrow. 12, approve request of use of city property requested by Catholic Charities Diocese of Metropolitan. 13, approve request for use of city property requested by El Toro Entertainment. 14, approve request for use of city property and sidewalk use requested by Aisha Williams of Town Reunion. 15, approve request for use of city property requested by Chi Upsilon Sigma National Latin Sorority. 16, approve relaxation of the city noise ordinance and road closure requested by Maxine Clayworks. 17, authorize award of professional service agreement with European QC LLC. 18, approve relaxation of the city noise ordinance and road closure requested by Stephen E.C. Trucking and Rigging, Inc. 19, approve relaxation of the city noise ordinance requested by James Cranston. 20, approve relaxation of the city noise ordinance and lane closure requested by Verona Crane Corporation. 21, approve relaxation of the city noise ordinance and road closure requested by Verona Crane Company. 22, resolution computing 2024 reserve for uncollected taxes. 23, City of New Brunswick 2024 municipal budget. This is the introduction, is for tonight, and public hearing for Wednesday, July 3rd, 2024. 24, a resolution to authorize a community benefits agreement with AJ Innovation Associates Urban Renewal LLC. 25, approve Title 39 agreement between Arnold Garcia and the City of New Brunswick. 26, approve request for street closing requested by Atlantic Corporation. Then we have items for discussion by council, public comment, place to remember. The next city council agenda review session will be Wednesday, May 1st at 5:30. Right after will be the city council meeting following that. At this time, let me just go to order.
Councilmember Castañeda.
Here.
Councilmember Ferguson.
Here.
Councilmember Fleming.
Here.
Councilmember Gaskin. Here. Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Here.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Here.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. Please be advised that the notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act has been complied with and satisfied, and that the annual notice which gives sufficient notice of the time and place and conduct of all public meetings of the Municipal Council of the City of New Brunswick has been filed with the City Clerk, has been placed on an appropriate bulletin board in City Hall, and has been transmitted to the official newspaper for the City of New Brunswick, namely the Home News Tribune.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So usually April has a lot of awareness courses, and this time I decided to talk a little bit about the Stress Awareness Month, and it's aimed at bringing attention to the negative impact of stress, and it's a good reminder for all of us to pause, breathe, and concentrate on our well-being. Also, we could reflect on how stress impacts all of us, and how can we explore and learn healthy coping mechanisms when dealing with stress. So I encourage you today to take time to practice self-care. Self-care, especially the city employees, self-care is important. Self-care and support each other while managing stress. Thank you.
Motion to approve the minutes. Second. Councilmember Castañeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Ferguson.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskins.
Yes.
Councilmember Secor Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. Madam Clerk, has the correspondence have been directed to the appropriate departments?
Yes, Madam President, the correspondence received by the City Clerk's office was forwarded to the appropriate department for further action.
Okay, at this time, we have public hearing regarding the community benefits agreement. We have Mr. Chairman, you want to present Mr. Palladino and the introduction?
Yes, Madam Council President, members of council, this matter is actually a first impression before council. I don't believe we've ever done this before. The reason being the state legislature enacted the New Jersey Economic Recovery Act of 2020, establishing the New Jersey Aspire Act to encourage economic development, growth, job growth, and retention, and community partnerships across the state of New Jersey. As we all come to know, the H1 project, also known as the Helix Building 1, was approved last year under the Aspire program. As a condition of that approval, the developer, New Jersey Innovation Associates Urban Renewal LLC, is required to enter into a community benefits agreement with the New Jersey Economic Development Authority and the city of New Brunswick, where the project is located. In connection with tonight's presentation and hearing for questions and answers, there are 3 areas of contribution that are proposed in connection with the community benefits agreement. They're set forth in some detail in Resolution 51. I know that Mr. Palladino and his group are here representing the developer, and I don't want to take any thunder away from him or his staff members to explain the 3 facets of the community benefits agreement. And then I suspect if any member of the public should have any question, we can open it up to questions and then conclude with closing that particular hearing. Mr. Palladino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Council President, members of the council, Mr. Trulis. It's a pleasure to be here. This is not only a matter of first impression here in New Brunswick. I believe it's only the 2nd community benefits agreement which has been considered by any council in the state of New Jersey. And I'm not sure how many more will be done because the legislature that amended the program and the Aspire program that does residential does no longer has to, is required to do community benefits. But since Mr. Chairman did my first page, I'll go right to the 2nd page. But we are recommending 3 contributions to the city of New Brunswick under the statute. The first being for the next 2 years of our construction period, continuing with 2 additional classes of our training to hire program, which does take individuals in the city and the surrounding communities, put them through a training program, and we've been very successful at getting those individuals into the building trades or into the construction business. That will amount to a monetary contribution of approximately $200,000 over the next 2 years. The second program that we would like to continue to support for summers of 24 and 25 is the program that's run by the Youth Advocate Program and the Leaders in Training. So in 24 and 25, we would, I think we've done this for 2 summers already. We'll do the next 2 years and, hopefully encourage others in the community and other developers to do this to continue to make this kind of a regular program. But that has a monetary value of $256,000 over the next 2 years. And then one that I find interesting, because it's nothing we've been involved before, is that we are recommending putting $1 million in a trust account for the city, at the city's discretion, at the mayor's discretion, to use over the next 10 years. He can use it over the next 2 years if he likes, the next 3 years if he likes. But those programs, for programs that the statute specifically talks about, is that programs that are intended to improve the community's health, safety, access to opportunities, recreational opportunities, environmental resilience, environmental quality, the general quality of life in the city, and other locally prioritized community programs. So instead of us picking and choosing, this allows the city to have that money. We'll put it into a trust account, an interest-bearing account. The interest will go to the city. And we'll do that within the next 60 days, within 60 days of the document being signed. And at any time at that point, the city can just request us in writing that they want $10,000 for Code Blue or $150,000 for a park, and then we would immediately send it to the city for that reason. Or where directed, if it was directed to a community group. So I think it really is a flexible grant from the program, but I think could be quite effective. So, any questions you have?
Any questions from my colleagues? Before I open the floor, any questions? Thank you, Mr. Palladino. At this time, we are preparing to open the public hearing for the public comments on the presentation of the Community Benefits Agreement. You may come up. You have up to 5 minutes. One person, one time on.
Good evening, Council. Charlie Cradville, Brunswick, New Brunswick today. I wanted to ask how the trust fund would be administered. Based on the representations I just heard, the mayor could write a letter and have monies expended for any purpose he chooses. Would the council play any role? Is there any, controls or checks and balances that you want to see on this $1 million?
Can I explain
Yes,
one additional thing? The statute requires the appointment of, and the mayor hasn't, I don't believe has done it yet, of 3 members of the public. And I think it specifically says someone who has a business in town, someone who lives in town, and I'm not sure what the third is. Every year they need to report to the EDA on the progress of any donations that are made. So there'll be a reporting to the state of how it's done. The statute is, and I defer to Mr. Shenry, but the statute's silent with respect to how it's administered vis-a-vis the different parts of the municipal government.
Mr. Sherry, do you have anything to add?
No, what Mr. Palladino says is accurate. The statute does provide for a 3-person, 3-member board, which reviews all the requests. It is highly regulated and monitored by the EDA, and the spending has to come within the parameters of the statute.
Thank you for the information. I guess I'm curious if the 3-member board would have open public meetings or public input, any sort of regular schedule or structure.
Is that required?
Now, I do not see that within the statute. I haven't read it many times. I could always go back and take a look. That board is advisory in its context.
Right, but nothing preventing them from having open public
Well, this is
meetings,
something,
public
Mr.
input.
Variable, we hear you, and I'm pretty sure that we will be able to give updates also some of the things that have been happening in the programs.
Yeah, I guess with the genesis of my concerns, I know we have a number of boards and commissions already in the city, and some of them are not functioning, or at least not functioning as originally intended. I know the taxi commission is an example. I know there's others that have not been following through on the schedules set forth or being active. So I'm concerned if this ends up being a 3-person board that all they do is they sign a document once a year to rubber stamp what choices the administration's made, rather than being an actual venue to gather input, make smart decisions about what to do with the money, and make those decisions in public so that everybody can see how those decisions were arrived at and what amounts are going to go to what thing, instead of having to wait for an annual report. So I would just encourage the city to structure this in a way where there is meaningful public input and actually, in this room or somewhere else public, a chance to witness these decisions being made about how to spend this funding. That's all.
Anybody else from the public?
Yes, Danielle Moore, I have to say I would agree with Mr. Credible was just saying, due to where somewhere we can keep an eye on what the money is going towards. But my main reason for stepping up, due to where I heard the word code blue, I will say it again, even though, yes, it was increased $60,000, $150,000, due to where, like I said, wow, to only hold, 27, due to where I seen the mark of being 664 homeless on the census, a report that I seen, even though I know it's much higher than that with the homeless, due to where we got over 3,000 guests. But I would say, hoping, as I mentioned before, something more to help out with Code Blue, due to where some people don't feel safe with leaving their stuff in there being stolen. So like I said, my ideas with Code Blue, and also Mr. Jones, Keith Jones, where he was saying people were asking some type of lockers, like I said, more space, due to where, 27 spaces for someone to sleep. I just have to say, we can do better. And then I mentioned as well, due to where you have enough men's shelters, but it's time for New Brunswick to have a women's shelter, due to where I'm seeing a lot of women, and then also a lot of women coming towards me asking when are they going to do a women's shelter in New Brunswick. But like I said, my main thought is, due to where what Mr. Crowderville was saying, I would love to see, due to where what this money is going to go to, keep it on balance. And for example, the reason why I'm saying that, I know the city received over $324,000 to help with addiction, but I still haven't heard any word. What is it going towards? What is it helping? So yes, like for example, yes, I would like to, like Mr. Credible said, keep everything on the record, due to where I have to say every person that works for the city is not honest.
And as it was said before, this is something that we would like. We have experts in our administration, and the mayor has been doing this for a long time, so I'm pretty sure he knows that. And with the panel that he has, the advisory panel will utilize those funds to what is most needed for our residents and for the best of the residents. So I'm sure of that. And if once it starts and everything, I will ask for I will give updates and see how everything's going. And thank you, Mr. Palladino. Thank you for being here. Anything else?
Madam Council President, actually the statute does provide for updates to council and the mayor. If there are no more public comment, I would ask just for a motion to close the public comment period relative to this matter.
Motion.
Councilmember Castañeda?
Yes.
Councilmember Ferguson?
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming?
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskin?
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig?
Yes.
Council Vice President Anderson?
Yes.
Council President Escobar?
Abstain.
Duly noted.
We have ordinance for discussion on second reading. We have ordinance 04201 and ordinance 2 amendments supplementing the revised general ordinances of the city of New Brunswick, Title 10, which is in reference to parking zones for handicapped persons. We are adding 106 Police Boulevard and 323 Somerset Street. Any of my fellow council members have any questions? We are ready to open the floor for public hearing on this ordinance only. Any member of the public wishes to address the council on this particular ordinance? Seeing none?
Move the ordinance. Second. Councilmember Castañeda?
Yes.
Councilmember Ferguson?
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming?
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskin?
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig? Yes. Council Vice President Anderson?
Yes.
Council President Escobar?
Yes. Then we have ordinance 042402. It's an ordinance to adopt a redevelopment plan for the New Brunswick Eastern Somerset Transitional Redevelopment Plan area in the city of New Brunswick. Mr. Dominguez, are you still here? I know he wasn't feeling well. Oh, I'm sorry, yes. Before we move on, can you just give a brief overview of this particular ordinance, please?
Sure, certainly. So the proposed redevelopment plan incorporates an area of 5 smaller sub-areas that are somewhat sandwiched between Easton Avenue, Hamilton Street, and Somerset Street, and then kind of anchored along Hardenberg There's sort of a mixed bag of different targeted redevelopments depending on the lot sizes and the density that might be able to be accommodated there, as well as potential for hospital expansion, mixed-use development in general, near transit. And that's sort of the general overlay of the plan's workings.
Thank you. Do any of my fellow council members have any questions or comments on these particular ordinance? At this time, we are preparing to open the public hearing on the ordinance only. You have up to 5 minutes, one person, one time out. Any member of the public wishes to address the council on this ordinance, please come forward.
Good evening, Charlie Cradville, New Brunswick today. I wanted to ask where one can get a copy of the plan.
To the leaders.
Mr. Cradville likes, I'll send it to him by the end of the week if I'll email him over.
Okay. And I do think going forward, when you have such an important item on your agenda like this, the document itself should be made public. I had unfortunately unable to attend the planning board meeting where this was mentioned, and I think it did pop up on the planning department's portion of the city website for maybe a month or so around that time, but when I looked earlier today, I couldn't find it there anymore. It's not in your agenda documents, it's not in your packet, and it's nice to hear a little snippet about it before the discussion, but I would have liked to have the document available on the web, and frankly, I don't see why all redevelopment plans are not posted to either the city website or the redevelopment agency website all the time. Those are important, sort of documents, especially in New Brunswick. So would hope to see more transparency in the future, and thank you.
Anybody else from the public? Yes. On this ordinance only?
Well, I gotta get my head for this back. So basically what, so what's going on here, due to where I heard different locations, but what is this? I had to take care of something with it. What is this based on over that area?
Mr. Dominguez.
Yeah, certainly. So it's a redevelopment plan with 5 different sub-areas between Hamilton Street, Somerset Street, and Easton Avenue. A portion of one of the sub-areas will be for hospital expansion potential. One of them, actually the other 4 really for mixed-use developments, of ground floor commercial, residential on top. Depending on the lot sizes, some of them are accommodating larger apartment building styles, some of them are accommodating smaller apartment building styles, depending on the sizing potential of being able to accommodate circulation and other factors. So one of them is just quickly off the top of my head, the corner of Easton and Somerset, where the bar is, not Effie's, but the other end, I don't remember what the bar is called. There's the corner of Condict in Somerset, the corner of Condict in Easton, small site, corner of Hardenberg and Conduct, big-ish site, corner of Hardenberg and Hamilton Street, behind the parking deck of the Canton Street, large site, and corner of Somerset Street and Hardenberg Street, relatively large site with potential for hospital expansion into that area.
Thank you.
So while we're talking about knocking more property down due to where, like I said, the Lord gives me to be at the right spot due to where I was curious why I saw inspections going on Somerset due to where what, and I was saying to myself, wow, I guess okay, due to where the way being marked to certain areas, due to where saying, wow, here we are knocking down more buildings, what, for Robert Wood Johnson or Rutgers? Come on, enough with the demolishing. Like I said, wow, the excuses due to where what? You keep saying what? You don't have enough officers on duty, just like what I said, wow, you don't have enough ambulance on duty. Enough with all this reconstruction due to where, wow, beauty, as a 47-year-old resident, born and raised, beauty is not taking away the crime in New Brunswick. And please, I think you ought to really start thinking about it due to where enough with all of these buildings. I think it was a lesson learned, and I said in the planning board, what, for an earthquake due to where New Jersey normally doesn't get earthquakes, what, for April 5th, due to where, wow, people running out of Robert Wood Johnson, people running out of the Eldridge, due to where, come on, enough with building. I think that was the first warning. Enough with all these planning buildings that you still have to keep going. What, at least 6 more buildings? Enough with knocking down, trying to make New Brunswick beautiful again, because it's not going to make New Brunswick beautiful again. What, with crime, shooting, what, drugs, homelessness? Enough.
Anybody else from the public wishing to address the council on this ordinance? Seeing none.
Move the ordinance.
Second.
Councilmember Castaneda.
Yes.
Councilmember Ferguson.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskin.
Yes.
Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. Then we have ordinance, on first reading, we have ordinance 0.2403. It's an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and establish a cap bank. Can I have a move? Somebody move?
Move the ordinance setting out May 1st, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. same date,
Councilmember Castaneda.
Yes.
Councilmember Ferguson.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskin. Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. Then we have resolutions 1 through 26. Before we go into any council members, any questions, or any comments on the resolutions? I'm going to ask Mr. Drulis if you could just give a little highlights of resolution 23. As I stated at the beginning of the meeting when I was doing the agenda review session, this is just an introduction of the budget. Public input will be taken on July 3rd. So if you just give us just some highlights of what we are introducing today.
Sure, Council President, members of council. The proposed budget for 2024 has been submitted with $111,774,754 in expenditures, supported by a levy of $39,703,000. The budget maintains all regular municipal services expanded over the years. In addition, the budget calls for the hiring of 13 police officers, 3 of whom will hit the streets this summer, 10 will enter the academy in August, outfitting our firefighters with additional safety equipment, and expanding programming and offerings for residents in recreation, teen center, and senior center. The budget also provides a $4.5 million increase in healthcare insurance obligations, total reflecting to pre-COVID numbers in terms of healthcare costs, while still complying with the appropriation and levy cap requirements as supported by our state statutes. In addition to meeting city operational demands, the budget will continue to make investments that improve the infrastructure that our residents rely on and the quality of life in our neighborhoods. Our park improvement program continues with the start of construction of Liberty Square Park, the replacement and resurfacing of hard surface playing courts, including for pickleball courts, the installation of newly purchased playground equipment in multiple city parks. Plans include the renovation of Alex Baker Park as it awaits our $1.9 million application to 3 acres. As stewards of the city's buildings and facilities, this year's budget this year's projects include the historic renovation of the iconic brick facade of Engine 5 on Bartlett Street, and interior improvements and repairs to the Free Public Library, its elevators, and HVAC systems. In addition to all that's going on above ground, the city will be just as active underground, replacing 3 miles of water mains in areas around Rutgers Village, Lee Avenue, Sedan Street, Jersey Avenue, College Avenue, Richmond Street, Albany Street, Burnett Street, High Street, Jones Avenue, Paul Robeson Boulevard, Delavan Street, Bishop Street. The roadways for each of these projects will be paved when completed. Other streets scheduled to be repaved this year include Lewis Street, Portland, Van Dyke Avenue, Brookside Avenue, Maple Street, Florence Street, Garden Street, Sanford, and Hiram Square. With recent projected long-term shifts in temperature and weather patterns, new to the city budget this year is a storm water utility, intended to raise and direct funds to combat unprecedented flooding that threatens the lives and properties of our residents. The stormwater utility will provide the means of developing a long-term stormwater capital improvement master plan, address additional repair needs, reduce litter and pollution in the city's waterways, and provide additional resources to address the impacts of flooding to conforming property. The stormwater utility will generate revenue to cover the cost of these services by placing a fee on public and private properties based on the amount of stormwater that runs off and drains into the city's stormwater management systems. Historically, the payment for these expenses was drawn from property taxes on private property and not based on the amount of stormwater runoff a property generates and discharges to the city. It is anticipated that this stormwater utility will be able to generate approximately $1.5 million at a modest rate for all property owners. Funds from the stormwater utility will be placed in an enterprise fund that will be restricted for the use of funds only for stormwater management and related activities. The city will develop this system in conjunction with the normal weather process and, of course, with authorization through the city council. We also continue to benefit from revitalization efforts as recent development projects realize an increase of $565,000 in revenue in this budget, nearly $1 million in construction code fees, and $46.3 million in the total assessed valuation of taxable property in the city. A tax rate increase of 3 cents has been proposed for this budget, resulting in an annual increase of approximately $92.76 for the average property owner, and the average defined as property assessed at $263,194.51. Thank you for the review of today's budget introduced, and as always, the mayor and the administration welcome the input from the council and the public.
Thank you. So at this time, we are preparing to open the meetings for public comment on resolutions only. If any member of the public wishes to address the council on these resolutions only, please come up, one time up, 5 minutes.
Yes, Danielle Morgan. I'm going to start off with 23 due to where with the budget you were just saying. I just heard something mentioned on three police officers got paid or something, and then just hit my head. Wow, that's the reason why we have 3 police officers on standby. Is this related to the budget or somebody's scared in here tonight?
So I'm going to stick to the question about the budget. The
Well,
budget
excuse me, what it was announced to where paid.
The budget mentioned, like I said, it's just the highlights, and Mr. Lewis just highlighted part of the budget is to hire.
I know what he said, and like I said, he
It has nothing
mentioned
to do with the presence of the police here.
then that's all you had to do, not waste my time. And like I said, due to I was just asking for the day,
Go
for
ahead,
the
wait,
part of it.
go ahead and ask the other one.
Then, all right, then like I said, with the litter and all due to come on, what you are speaking, what you are ruling, putting up signs saying dumping, littering, $500 fine. Are you following them rules or not? And then like I said, yes, you're getting money for it, but what, are you following the rules? You'll be seeing later on what I will presenting due to we're going through the situation. I've been speaking on for Mr. Paul Dean at 3 Oxford Street with people dumping garbage. But do New Brunswick Police Department give out tickets? Wow, I had video on someone before. Illegally taking what garbage out their vehicle, right? Saying calling New Brunswick. Oh no, that's not a crime. I think it's time for you council members to get into a meeting. What you're saying is a law and what is not the law with the police department, because a lot of things you're saying is not matching the rules of what New Brunswick Police Department is saying. Now, so like I said, is it legal to put garbage on somebody else's property? You saying it's not, but like I said, what does New Brunswick Police Department do? Nothing. You can have the video, and like I said, we will be speaking on that matter due to where, I don't think it was right with what Mr. Dean was going through, because the people dropped it. Well, like I said, the budget is including litter and pollution, litter and pollution going all over, due to where what? Same thing with oil. Did I just do videotaping? What, with people putting oil going down storm drains? What, all of it goes down to the river? But what's the use? Oh, sorry, that's not a crime. But like I said,
What you're saying by resolution was something approved or not. I really think you need to get together with New Brunswick Police Department, as Mr. Crowderville was saying for so many years. What you're saying and what the police department is saying is not matching. And do I have the evidence to prove that? I most certainly do, because we will be getting to it. Thank you.
Anybody else want to comment on the resolutions only? You have to come into the microphone and you have 5 minutes, long time up.
Hi, April Lucas. I just wanted to make a quick comment that I'm very glad to hear that there's a fund set aside for stormwater management. I think that's going to be increasingly important as the years go on and climate change impacts get worse for our community. And I just had a quick question of where can we find the full budget for review? Is that going to be on the website?
It's going to
So
be on
what part of the website?
It will be published in the website.
Mr. Moore, tell us specifically.
Can you tell us, Mr. Bowman, when are we going to put the budget out?
So when we advertise the budget document through the, on the newspaper, we will publish it and be available in the clerk's office and in the library.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have a timeline for when we think that's likely to be?
I would say probably within, because we have some other ordinances that are affecting pieces of the budget, so it could be within the next couple weeks, probably.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to speak on 231, and I'm going to start with the police officers.
I'm so sorry. Can
Are
you
you
speak up?
talking, yeah, I was going to say, because I cannot hear you, understand what you're saying, either get close to the microphone or let me hear you, and you used to question related to the resolutions, that's first of all.
I'd like to speak to the resolution.
Which one?
The
What
Daniel-
number?
Is it 23, the one that Danielle Moore spoke
The
about?
budget for the city?
Yeah, with the-
Introduction of the budget?
with the police officers, correct.
It's not, the budget is for the whole city,
For the
and
whole
it
city?
includes the hiring of 13 police officers.
And it has police officers included. Does the budget include to have 3 police officers stand in the back of the room during a council meeting?
These are new officers.
Huh?
The budget includes new officers. The ones that are here are part of the police department already, so. Any other question?
Yeah, how much money are we wasting to have 3 police officers?
You could ask that question after the public portion part of the meeting, if you want, okay?
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Well, I
Anybody else? Your time is up, thank you. Anybody else? On the resolutions only?
Hello, Council. Charlie Crowderville once again. I appreciate the separate hearing on the community benefits agreement and for you asking for some information about the budget. That addressed all my questions on those items, and the only one that I have questions about now is the final one, ending in 453. I'm curious if somebody can enlighten me as to the purpose of the ground penetrating radar. What are you looking for with that? Is that trying to find sources of contamination or leaks or what?
That 26 is that we are requiring is approved for street closing, so I don't know if it has anything to do with what you're asking at this point, so I can find out that later on. Because the resolution is only asking for us, well, for them to be able to be there.
Yeah, I'll draw your attention to the resolution. Whereas the City of New Brunswick Water Utility, Eastcom, contracted by Avanti, which is working for the US EPA, will be using ground penetrating radar, GPR, as part of a pilot program sponsored by the US EPA to demonstrate the use of GPR as an alternative to more invasive measures. My question is, more invasive measures
And I'm just
for what?
And I'm just telling you that the resolution that we have in front of us, although you're reading that, the resolution is to approve the request for street closing. It has nothing to do with what you're asking. So
It
that's-
absolutely does have to do with what I'm,
Well,
your
it's closing.
resolution, I don't
I don't have
want
an
to
answer
argue.
for you. We're not gonna go back and forth.
Right.
I got your question, I don't have an answer for you, so can we move on?
Okay,
And
well, I
this
would imagine
resolution
some of
is
the
to close the
professionals
streets.
here for the city council meeting could answer the question. You're approving temporary road closures to enable the use of ground penetrating radar, a pilot program that the federal government wants to do here
I will get that
to
information from
explore this alternative. Can you tell me why? What is it an alternative to?
I'm not gonna answer that now because I
Why
don't know.
not?
Because I don't consider that to be part of the resolution, but I'm gonna answer it later on. You know,
When?
when I get to the point that I know when, either it's today or it might be.
Okay, well, they're gonna do this tomorrow.
Anything else, no? Anything else, any other
This is-
new?
I only wanted to ask about the one resolution, and I've learned nothing so far.
Okay, thank you.
Thursday, April 18th is tomorrow. You want to close a couple of streets to use ground penetrating radar. Can anyone in the city government tell me why?
It has nothing to do with the resolution.
It's in the resolution, miss. This is really not
I don't,
appropriate.
it is my understanding, that this resolution is for the closing, Mr., the legal advisor. It's for the closing of the
For the
street.
closing of the street.
Right.
Thank you.
And the resolution itself cites ground penetrating radar as the reason for the closing. So don't you think that it'd be in the public interest for you to just briefly explain what that is and why it's going on tomorrow on Joyce Kilmer Avenue between Handy and Baldwin Street? If for no other reason, so that residents can understand what's happening.
Anything else, Mr.?
You don't see that as an important question.
Anything else? You see it one way, I see it another one. Any other questions that you might have?
No, this is the
Anything
only
new?
one, and I'm
Okay.
frankly embarrassed to be a New Brunswick resident and have a council that won't answer why they're closing the street. You want to take action. You have a
You
public
the
hearing.
answer. It's just that you want to hear something else. The answer is there. It's telling you that they're going to do a testing. It's telling you the answer.
I'm asking what it is. What is ground penetrating radar? Do you know, and you're just not telling us, or?
I don't know.
You don't know what it
I will find out. I will find out.
Okay, will you
At
find
some
out
point.
before or after
At
it's
some
already
point.
done?
At some point.
Before or after the experiment is done?
Go ahead, Mr. Carter. Anything else?
This is the only one I wanted an answer to, and I'm shocked that you can't just ask one of the professionals. Why can't the DPW director, I guess maybe he's not here, but why can't the water utility tell us? This is an agreement with the federal government. Is this got to do with water contamination? You don't know. Doesn't matter?
I already gave you an answer, Mr. Crandall.
You did not. You absolutely did
I
not.
gave
Respectfully,
an
I asked a simple
And
question.
respectfully, I gave you an answer that you don't want to hear, but I already stated what I was going to say. I'm not going to say anything else about it.
Right, you didn't say anything. You said you don't
See,
know.
that has nothing to do, I explained to you, it has nothing to do, in my view, with the resolution, so I'm done. Anything
Okay,
else?
well, read the resolution would be my comment.
Anything else?
I would say you should read the resolution, and if you don't know why you're closing the street, you should find out, and you should tell the public.
Anything else?
I think that's reasonable, and I'm upset that you can't answer a simple question when the answer is probably somewhere in the room. So, again, good job having a separate hearing for the other resolution. Good job asking about the budget. Unfortunately, inadequate and unacceptable job of answering my question about this resolution. Thank you.
Anybody else? Wishes to address the council on the resolutions?
Move the resolution. Councilmember Castañeda.
Yes, with the exception of 11 where I abstain.
Duly noted. Councilmember Ferguson.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskins.
Yes.
Councilmember Secor Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes, except abstaining on 23.
Duly noted.
At this time, before we open the floor for public comment, I want to do a little bit of updates. As I explained at the last meeting, we have been giving a lot of comments about the police not doing their job, they don't do tickets, and they don't do this, and they don't do that. So Lieutenant Hoover, if you could give us, I don't want details, I just want the number of summonses that would be or anything, activity that you had happening with the police department within the next, the first quarter, whichever, whatever number you have.
Sure, Council President. The first quarter of 2024, 5,000 summonses were issued. All-purpose summonses, including moving, city ordinance, and parking.
Thank you. So we are doing something. The next one is, there were some questions about EMS, Mr. Jules.
Yes, it was asked who provides the ambulance service for the city, and what is the procedure? The ambulance service is provided by Robert Wood Johnson. The procedure is that there is a call for service. It is routed to Rutgers Dispatch Center. The dispatch center connects the call with the Robert Wood Johnson Communications Center, where the trained operator provides support to the caller and dispatches an ambulance services where appropriate.
Thank you for giving that. I want to take this time to congratulate Eric from our own, from the Brunswick Water Department. He received so congratulations. I also wanted White Jr. was promoted to captain, and O'Neill Martinez was promoted to lieutenant. So congratulations to all of them. Also, before going to the public part of this, I want to wish Councilman Manuel Castaneda a happy belated birthday. It was your birthday yesterday, so many blessings and health and happiness. So at this point, we're going to open the floor for public comment only.
Madam Council
Oh,
President,
what did I?
can I just interrupt one moment, just for purposes of the record? When we did roll call on the resolutions, I believe you stated you were abstaining from 23.
Yeah, isn't that the point? I think the wrong one.
Right, it was 24. Just for the record, can
Thank
you
you.
tell the clerk you meant 24?
I meant 24, another one, I meant the other one,
Duly
24.
noted.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
the agreement. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam.
Thank you for keeping track.
I try.
At this time, we are preparing to open the floor for public comments. We have up to 5 minutes, one person up. Any member of the public wishes to address the council and unfortunately speak in the public comment part of the meeting, please come up. Yes, Mr. Lee.
Hi, yes, I will be speaking for Mr. Dean as usual as the last time. I don't want to try to hold him up. He's still a little weak now, but sad to say, like I said, even though we did make good out of it, I was upset that Mr. Dean was arrested in prison, 3 to 4 weeks, wow, for these people, squatters, and these people you allow in New Brunswick to litter and to destroy people's property without going to jail. Like I said, why don't you go after these real damn criminals in New Brunswick? But like I said, due to where, while Mr. Dean was not present, due to where, March 29th, I think that was close to Good Friday, due to where, breaking his house, the video, that was car 929, and that was April 7th. Car 910, that's Officer Hedler, if I pronounce his name, 281. I had him come and take a walk inside Mr. Dean's house, 3 Oxford Street, with his body camera, and I put it up on Facebook to where, come on, Mr. Dean's house was not like that, with beer, and all over his house, destroyed. And like I said, while he was gone, yes, like I said, the Lord, it was for a purpose. I told you, due to where I wasn't going to be able to handle it because my mom was passing away, due to where, but wow, I still did the Lord work that when my mom did pass away April 3rd. Still did out his garbage and everything. Then that was today, with him present, I had, today, that was car 911, was Officer Hessler, that's 281. Also, while he was present, you see the people in there. Now, like I said, I was very disappointed, but I explained the same thing to Mr. Dean, due to where, that was the Lord working with me. Now, I'm going to show you where, like I said, I teach people, while you help others, you're helping yourself, because when you need a blessing, the helping hand will come to you. Now, I will show you due to where I know how to work with Mr. Dean, due to where, how sometimes he might say, oh, no, don't let me do this. No. But I'm going to show you, same thing I showed the inspectors, where 80% of the garbage from his property that was not done by him, because I told you, he can't lean over or whatever, with these squatters stealing in his house, going through his house, it's clean now. Like I said, I thank the city and the company, the garbage company working with me, other than Monday, gentlemen cussing me out, not wanting to take Mr. Dean's garbage. Oh, I'm the one doing this, blah, blah, blah. Oh, they said he got written up, I hope he did. But like I said, cussing at me, because some people hate to see people do good. But like I said, due to where, it's clean now. Due to where Mr. Dean told me he has nowhere to go now. Like I said, that's why I gathered up team members, due to where I can't lift anything heavy with my arm. But like I said, whatever I was able to help, due to where his property is clean. Due to where, like I said, he shouldn't have had to do the time, for what these squatters are doing, and I put it up on Facebook and showed the video, how they destroyed his house, the whole first floor. What? Come on. When is the police going to start doing this? And honestly, I know why, because we've been over this several times. What? Due to where they're illegal, they can do whatever they want? And please, like I said, I have nothing against anyone being illegal, but like I said, be treated equal. Then with the squatters, due to where from going from his house, now they're right up the street due to where on Hell Street, working on a blue house over there. What, you're gonna have 2 fires on Jersey Avenue with squatters? But like I said, come on, with his condition, he is not the one doing all of this garbage. But like I said, it's a blessing for his property to be clean now. With volunteers coming, everything is not about money, because like I said, sometimes you gotta really hope that you make it to his age, to help others. I know I get blessed for what I do, but like I said, due to where, wow, now I hope we can go further due to where, understanding, I let the officer know on record recording, due to where who's allowed in his house, due to where, since his buddy passed, no one to take care of him. But like I said, please, from here, I have the police reports, we will go further.
Next, anybody else?
Oh, by the way, today, when I got released last night at 10 o'clock, one was living in my house at 10 p.m., and this morning there was another one there at 6 o'clock living in the house.
Okay, thank you.
So this is a situation that's just ongoing.
Thank you, and I know Mr. Lieutenant Ford is here, and I know that he spoke to you, but thank you. Time is up for, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anybody else from the public wishes to address the council? Anybody else?
Kathleen Baitanda. I'm a resident of the city. I was born and raised here. My family has a house on Oxford Street, down the street from Mr. Dean. It's correct. I have a 2-family home. It's vacant. I don't want any squatters in it. I'll take the loss. You can't look the other way anymore. It's all over in the southern part of that area. From French Street, Somerset Street, up to Jersey Avenue, Wakita's new school, hundreds of them were there, you know it. It's been ongoing. Now they're all at the BP Excellence Station. They come down the street, they're in their yard, there's beans, there's foods, there's garbage, there's human excrement. Really. We all know that social determinants of health. I've studied it professionally. I'm a registered nurse for 49 years. But enough is enough. You have to support the bill by 2 senators in Cumberland, and I believe it's Salem County. It's S-275. Arrest the squatters. They don't have rights. We're paying the taxes, the water bill, the insurance, everything for the residents. So I'd like to have a response from you in terms of a solution. Not me figure it out. You have it. Single-handedly, we cannot do it. You collectively can.
Just so you know, in the past when it was brought to us about Mr. Dean's situation, the police did go, and the police have gone to that house and to that area over 78 times. They have arrested people, they even sporadically did patrols and put patrols there. So have you called the police when this situation in your house happened? Did you call the police and let them know that this is what?
No, I did not call right then and there because I don't know exactly when it happened. But then when I looked carefully to go mow the grass, I see that there's socks with excrement on it. That's not a dog.
So says Lieutenant Ford is here, he's listening to you, so we'll revisit. But they have been going there, trying to...
It's all over.
Yes.
It's from Bethany Street, Alexander Street, all the way over to Easton Avenue. It's just... And all the buildings that were on Jersey Avenue, they were also occupied.
Can I get your information after the meeting?
Sure. Okay, thank you.
Madam President?
Yes.
I just may also add, in my day job, I do work in the legislature, and I think the legislature has become aware of squatters' issues. It's not just a municipal issue, because unfortunately, the way that some of the state statutes are written, it does kind of hamstring local law enforcement and their response and the type of response that they do for squatters. And so I'm hopeful that the legislature will move on this issue, because certainly it's something that we as a body can bring to our state legislators to make sure that they know this is a big issue for our residents and we're advocating on their behalf.
Thank you, absolutely. I see nobody else.
Miss, I'd like to speak, please.
That's a good
Daniel, you
last
already spoke.
Excuse me?
You already came up.
Excuse me, no, I did not. That was where Mr. Dean had me speaking for him due to, I told you he's 2 weeks. He was just released
Oh,
from the
because he
thing.
spoke, that's why I was like, you know, okay.
That's why I was standing beside him. Okay, I hope my time starts now. Then no more, due to I will continue on with Mr. Dean. Like I said, with all the fines he said, due to where hopefully with the time, the amount of days that he spent in jail, almost 4 weeks, due to where he's saying, due to where I can't go in his further business, but I'm hoping the amount of time he did, it reduces all the fines that he should not have been charged for regardless, due to where I gave the evidence, due to where, and showed the picture to Lieutenant Hoover. But like I said, please, why don't you start arresting these real damn criminals in New Brunswick and not just others, where I will continue on with my situation when they put handcuffs on me. Now I done seen the final specialist for my arm, now going through with also the damage where you tore my shoulder in 3 locations, dislocated my arm, causing nerve damage due to where they done compare. Now it's triggering with my neck and damaging with my nerve, and it compares that due to the MRI, it's not related to what happened in 2002. And like I said, now I'm just getting over with my mother. Like I said, you will be hearing from the lawyer, my lawyer, on this case with suing New Brunswick Police Department for pain and suffering due to her telling me that what I got to deal with this pain from 6 to 12 months. Due to where I'm taking 2 to 3 times more pain medicine, and then what with this officer? Wow, honestly, wow, it's been four meetings now. Now, would you please tell me, this is the 4th time I'm asking you, President Escobar and Vice President Anderson, wow, was Officer Alexander Yunez, badge 326, that drives 916, was he suspended with pay or not? This is the 4th time you still haven't answered me. Please, was he suspended with pay or not? Why haven't you answered? Either one of you still don't have any words? Well, then like I said, please, you're sworn to tell the truth, and like I said, please, you council members, Lord, like you answered my last prayer, and I'm going to say it again, time for you to go. Would you please ask Lieutenant Hoover, wow, if someone is a woman that is brought in handcuffs, are they allowed to be checked by a male officer, or do they have to wait for a female officer?
Continue, Ms. Daniel. Remember, this is a public comment, but this is not a question, a period of question and answers. So go ahead.
Like I said, you believe me, you will have your day with covering for officers who commit crime. And like I said, believe me, you saw magical powers work with the help of Mr. Dean. Believe me, you're going to see it. Like I said, time for you no good, dishonest council members to get out of here. You're destroying New Brunswick. Because like I said, it's not like that. The way I was treated by him, wow, saying that I was the criminal, yeah, he tried to charge me with aggravated assault. Yeah, Detective Walcott said, no, disorderly conduct. But like I said, I'm still disappointed with Walcott saying, ooh, I started that whole thing. What was the police call on February 1st over to Walgreens? Someone with a gun? It wasn't me, because I was just walking from police headquarters, and what? Due to where tried to blame the whole story on me? Oh yes, like I said, New Brunswick Police Department will be seeing a very big lawsuit for my pain and suffer where I was the victim. But like I said, you hate to see people, some people hate to see somebody do something good. But I don't do anything good to make me look good. I do good because that's what the Lord touched me to do. Help others. Like I said, I teach others. You help someone else, you're helping yourself. Due to where what? Like I said, if I really sat home with this pain that I'm having where I can't even damn sleep, no matter what position my arm is in, why? Because what he did to me at police headquarters, while making me damn sit there 10 to 15 minutes in pain, crying, but he released the damn one that assaulted me, attacked me. Please, what kind of people are you that keep defending people sworn to follow the law, and when they break the law, what do? You cover their ass? Nothing but a bunch of devils.
Next.
Hi, I'm from Street. There's a few issues that I want to bring up, and hopefully I have time for all of them. One is an issue that I think I brought up 2 meetings ago about nighttime shelter for homeless individuals. So I know we have code blue and code red for dangerous temperatures, and last summer there was planning done to make shelter available during days and nights with dangerous air quality. What I mentioned a couple meetings ago is that there are increasingly now are more kinds of weather emergencies outside of just temperature concerns and air quality concerns. For example, heavy rainstorms, where there's significant flash flooding. There's not necessarily an air quality or a temperature relation, but it's certainly dangerous to be outside. And I'm wondering if there's any update that you're aware of for plans to make shelter available during those types of instances.
I'll get an update for you next week.
Okay, I appreciate that. And then something else I previously asked about that I'd love to have an update on soon is just the general progress with the daytime homeless shelter. I know that's
We gave an update, I don't know when I talked, probably a couple of weeks back, we gave an update on it. It was working. There were some consumers that were taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
So far, the last time according to the update, everything was working out pretty fine. And I really also, now that I'm trying to be more, in terms of when you ask about the daytime and all of that, well, that's the daytime. Oh, there is nighttime. I think I will talk a little bit about it. They take it, they are aware of some of the situations and they're trying to address them as best as they could, and also following the standard from the state. So this is, it's an ongoing matter. I'm sure the staff knows, and it's an ongoing. I know that there have been some improvement and new things coming up with the homeless outreach team and other initiatives that are happening to help out with some of the issues that you are raising.
Yeah, I understand it's an ongoing process and lots of work to be done, and I would just say I would love to hear more about it if that's something that we can get an update on in the future. I think it's really great the past number of meetings that we've had more significant updates from staff members on specific programs or resolutions or in response to previous questions. I think that's excellent. I would love to have more of that. So I'm just expressing a desire that we can have someone back to talk more about these programs. That would be very valuable. And then a new issue that I'd like to bring to the council's attention that hopefully will be a welcome, positive thing as opposed to just hearing about lots of bad things. I'm not sure if any of you are aware of a major ordinance that was passed in Jersey City last week for ranked choice voting, which is a democracy reform to improve the way that we vote by allowing voters to rank candidates in order of preference as opposed to just being forced to pick one candidate on the ballot. There's lots of good things that I can say about ranked choice voting. I'm not sure if there's any level of familiarity among any of the council members already on what that is. But I think that it's something that I would love for us to consider here in New Brunswick. It's something that's sounds relatively new in New Jersey, but it's been used in countries like Australia and Ireland for over 100 years, and it's used at the state level in Alaska and Maine, and it's used in quite a few cities and municipalities across the country. And places that it's been used, it's been shown to increase government accountability to voters, increase neighborhood campaigning, lead to more women and people of color being represented in government. So, curious if there's, if any council members are familiar with this democracy reform already, have any opinions on this, and if there would be a willingness to talk more about pursuing this in Brunswick. Okay, I would love to talk more about it if we can. Appreciate it, thank you.
Good evening, once again, Charlie Cradaville. My first question is for Councilman Fleming, through the chair. For Councilman Fleming, are you an elder and ordained minister with the Abundant Life Family Worship Center?
He's not going to answer the question.
He's not going to answer the question. There's a lot of that going around.
Remember, he's a public comment portion of the meeting, so he has.
All right, well, I'll just throw to your attention the city website, which includes a little blurb about Councilman Fleming. It says, he's an elder and ordained minister with the Abundant Life Family Worship Church in New Brunswick. And so I'll keep a copy and hand a bunch of copies to the clerk, just so you have this. And I'd like an answer by the next meeting whether or not this is accurate. If it's inaccurate, it should be removed from the city website. And I can't for the life of me figure out why Councilman Fleming wouldn't just answer the question. Causes me to have some concerns. I know, Council President, you abstained from the vote on the community benefits agreement, presumably because you're employed by the Youth Advocate Program and that presents a conflict of interest for you. I'll note that Councilman Fleming voted yes for a development project being pushed by the Abundant Life Family Worship Center earlier this year. So if he's an elder and ordained minister with that entity, that would strike me as the type of thing he should not have voted affirmatively or negatively on, but rather should have recused himself on. So I think this is an important question to get answered. I don't know why it's been so hard. I've tried to ask him outside of these meetings, and he has refused. I've now asked him inside of this meeting, and he has again refused. This is not the behavior of a public servant, and I continue to be concerned about the cost that taxpayers have borne because of the sexual harassment lawsuit against Mr. Fleming, that somehow the city was, selected to pay his bills, even though it had nothing to do with his alleged public service, nothing to do with his role as a councilman. I don't know what's going on here, but I don't think that someone who can't answer simple questions and is using public resources to pay their legal bills when accused of sexual harassment, I don't think that should be going on here. And I hope you agree. And I'd be curious if you or your colleagues have any comment on the fact that Mr. Fleming is apparently seeking re-election to this council. Do you support his re-election, Council President?
I'm not making any comments. So, anything else?
Okay, well, I hope you reconsider that and you do ultimately make some comments. I appreciate finally getting some answers on the ambulance service here in New Brunswick. I'll note that it was last month when Numi Simmons was murdered. The murder remains unsolved, and according to the timestamped video that Danielle broadcast, it took more than 20 minutes for that second ambulance to arrive on the scene. There were 2 victims, several hundred feet apart. Only one had ambulance service responsive within that first 23 minutes, according to the timing. And it, in fact, was not Robert Wood Johnson who came through with that second ambulance. It was the North Brunswick Township Volunteer First Aid Squad. So I'd like to know, does New Brunswick have any arrangement with North Brunswick Township, or was that something they just did out of the goodness of their hearts because there was a need in New Brunswick that Robert Wood was not able to meet?
I will find out for you. It wasn't mentioned today when we talked, but I couldn't find out.
I would appreciate that very much. I think this is serious cause for concern. I also asked a couple questions. I've asked them several times now and have not gotten a response regarding the fire director. In 2014, he was driving a vehicle, struck 3 children in the crosswalk. The city was sued. I believe the case was settled. I asked how much the settlement was, how much the city paid for that? Is there an answer?
Mr. Shannon?
Yes, I did look into that, Madam Council President. The cases were settled. There were two claims, one settled for $110,000 and the other one settled for $725,000. That's inclusive of the defense costs, I believe.
Okay. And you'll note that the fire director's ability to drive city vehicles was revoked after that. For some reason, was reinstated in 2017. He's been in at least 3 crashes since then, all involving city vehicles. And then at some point, apparently after January 9th, the city again revoked his ability to drive city vehicles. I've asked what date were his permissions revoked.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Can I get an answer to the question that I
I
asked?
answered that question before.
You have
I
not.
just gave you that already, so thank
No,
you.
you haven't. I just want the date, that's all.
Thank you.
Will you get me that?
Thank you, you already got that answer.
I did not.
Thank you, tell me so. Anybody else from the
Just
board?
don't lie to my face.
Anybody else from the board?
If I got the answer, I would
Sir, just-
admit it. I did
Mr.
not get the
Cranfield,
answer.
you're done. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'd just like to let you know I'm going to be doing an over request to the chair that Councilwoman Patrick asked me to put the photo of me. I will be over requesting that photo and getting a copy of that. And the young lady that was sitting there, I'll find out her name. I'll take the photo that she took of me as well. But to have 3 police officers, I'm absolutely disgusted. To have 3 police officers in the room. At one point, 4 uniformed police officers, not counting Lieutenant Hoover, which makes it 5 police officers. So much crime out in New Brunswick. Did someone feel startled, maybe because somebody was wearing a mask? Did anybody call extra police because somebody was wearing a mask? Wasn't it you people that if you didn't wear a mask during COVID-19, your party was arresting people on site? Now someone comes in wearing a mask. Extra police presence?
You could address, your comments to me.
I never addressed it to anyone else other than you. Was there someone else?
Pointing out to anybody else, just keep looking at me if that's possible. Thank you.
I'm allowed to look around the room as I'm addressing you. Thank you, Ms. Escobar, for trying to police where I can look and where I cannot look. Councilman Fleming, is that true? Is that true that you are a part of you are an elder for the church? Through the church, Councilman Fleming.
You already answered that. He's not answering any questions. Anything new that you have to ask him?
According to Tap into New Brunswick for the story of Councilman Fleming, where they accused Councilman Fleming of exposing himself to a woman as her son walked into the room. As one man to another man, through the chair, Councilman Fleming, again, supposedly a God-fearing man, since you claim to be an elder, along with being a public servant. Would you like to answer, hey, the newspaper was wrong with these allegations, and here's my public statement? Or do you want to deny the allegations, or would you like to admit to them?
As I stated in past meetings, Councilman Fleming is not addressing any of those questions.
I hope Councilman Fleming does not seek re-election. I think it's an abhorrent thing to expose yourself to a woman as her son is walking in the room. Absolutely disgusting. And we have women on this council. Don't you want to not say anything about it? Through the chair to Councilwoman Patrick Gaskins, isn't that a little more concerning than somebody wearing a mask in a public meeting? Would you like to take the opportunity to defend women who have to come to work every day with abusive men abusing their power and authority for personal and sometimes sexual gain? Would you like to say something about that, Miss?
There is no comments at this time. Continue your comment.
No, it's part of my statement. You don't have to interrupt my statement, Ms. Escobar. I understand low IQ people might not be able to understand that, but if you can please not break Robert's Rules of Order when it's my time to speak, I have the floor.
I have the right to say something.
Not when it's my time to speak. The Supreme Court has already ruled on that. Lozman versus BRB Supreme Court ruling says when it's my time to speak, you're not allowed to mute me, interrupt me, throw me out the meeting.
Okay.
So I'd like to thank Lieutenant Hoover the moment I let him know that there's no nefarious activity going on. I'm just here to do my First Amendment protected activity. Right away, the cameras were shut off. I thank you for that, because it's intimidating enough for people to come and speak to their government without fear. I thought the detective was handling it very well without the need of 3 other people. Do you guys think that the detective is incapable of his job, that you had 3 more other officers to accompany him? Don't worry, detective. I thought you were doing a great job. You were fine. He didn't even need to be here, but he was fine. How much time do I have left?
How much time does he have?
Council President, 30 seconds.
You got 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Would you like to apologize to that woman, Councilman Fleming? Would you like to have some integrity? Would you like to ask God for forgiveness? Did you expose yourself to that woman and her child? Councilman Fleming, as a man to another man, did you expose yourself to that woman? Would you like to admit to that? I find it absolutely, if somebody accused me of something so heinous, I'd say, hey, that never happened. This person.
Thank you.
Okay. Chris Allen, speak
Seeing
slowly.
nobody else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Councilmember Castañeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Ferguson.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskin.
Yes.
Councilmember Sikora Ludwig. Councilwoman Sikora Ludwig. Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes.